lighting. Dramatic! Yes. Well, anyway, this is the first day of the new period, the day being Friday. Now, yesterday I put up the video for the last period, but I also did 2 hours of work on the horror. I wasn't sure if I was going to because I was trying to get this Kid Switch page done before my new company comes, and I spent 5 hours working on a page and 2 hours working on my own. 5 hours working on a Kid Switch page, 2 hours working on a horror page. Now, what's funny is, working on the Kid Switch page, I had a rough layout, and I mean like rough, like gesture rough. And I cleaned that up to sort of rough pencils and inks, and I finished most of the page. I'd say 2/3 the way done. There was 6 panels, 3 are completely done, 1 is mostly done, like all the hard work's done, so I really only have 1 panel left, and I did that in 5 hours. On the flip side, working on the horror, I had a page that only had 1 panel left that I had already started, and I worked on that panel for 2 hours, and I would say that panel is about halfway done. So, great. Also, yeah, just the Kid Switch page was flowing better, and I mean, there's always the thing of like, well, that's not my own personal dream project, so maybe I'm letting, I'm not holding onto it as tightly, and I think that might be part of it. But again, I always try to do quality work when I'm working for someone else still, especially if it's comics, and especially for this book, because I think it's a good book, and my friend wrote it, so I have something invested. But the other side of it is, I think I'm on page 12 or 13 of Kid Switch, and I'm on page 5 of the horror. And also, I'm drawing a lot of locations and people for the very first time in the horror. It's not even like I've been drawing the same character for 5 pages. Whereas Kid Switch, I'm starting to just get in the zone of kind of, okay, I've drawn these characters for a couple pages now, and I drew these backgrounds on the last page, so I already know like what's there. So that might be part of why that was flowing a little bit easier and coming a little quicker. Meanwhile, I will show you what I did, the progress on the horror right here with a crossfade. Crossfade! There it is. So, today, like I said, is the new day. It's about 12:30. I've been doing some housework and running around doing that kind of stuff. I have not yet worked on anything, the Kid Switch, the horror, or whatever, just housework stuff. I'm going to take a shower, and I'm going to give myself a haircut. As you can see, I got a moppy mop. And I've been doing sort of the faux hawk thing for a while. I think I don't know what I'm going to do. Basically, I take a shaver and shave my head and then use scissors after. So we'll see what happens. But I will talk to you either later tonight or tomorrow to let you know what I accomplished today. This is some crazy dramatic lighting. It's like rim lighting. Like, I should be having like a sword. Like, Return of the Father Killer. Am I the Father Killer or am I fighting the Father Killer? It's a bad cover. Okay, see you later. Friday night, I am looking a bit orange, not horribly orange, but a little orange. Worked on the Kid Switch inks again today. Finished up the page I was working on, that, the inks at least. And I did work on the horror for just under 3 hours today. And unfortunately, it was all on the final panel. The same panel I was working on yesterday for 2 hours, which when I think about it that way, I've spent 5 hours on this one panel that still isn't done, and that I had started previous. So it's a little bit over 5 hours I've already worked on it. It's going to be at least 6 hours by the time I'm done on this one panel. And it's not a big, huge reveal hero shot or something. It's a little bit of a city shot, but it's just taking forever. I didn't even realize, because I'm trying not to think about it when I work. I'm trying to just work and work, and don't think about how long it's taking. But it's taken a really long time, and I went back and redrew a few things, but for the most part, it's just been going straight through, because the rough was, the people in it were really rough, but the city area was sort of tight in the rough, because I worked on the perspective, and I did realize that I had sort of done a half-real, half-fake perspective, where I had a vanishing point on the left, and all the vertical lines were just straight up and down. There was only 2-point perspective. But the other vanishing point on the right, I kind of didn't really do. I kind of faked to sort of do some parallel horizontal lines, which is exactly the kind of thing that always trips me up. So I did a few of those, and then kind of readjusted them, and like, I can see a lot of flaws in it. Hopefully it's passable in the context of the page and the dialogue and everything else, that people won't notice the mistakes. But this is a weird panel that's taking me this long. I knew it would take a little bit of time, but I thought maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. The fact that I'm at 5 hours is crazy to me. Let me go ahead and just show you where it was yesterday and where it is today by mittening. I'm muttoning. Muttoning. And I muttoned. That's right, I became meat from a lamb, I think? I don't know. Mead? No, mead is the drink. I'm gonna drink mutton mead. But so yeah, so productive day in that I put time in, not productive in that I didn't get a lot done. However, page 5 is almost done. Tomorrow's Saturday. The friends from out of town are coming in Sunday, but I do have plans tomorrow. There's a Hundreds hangout tomorrow night, actually, for those of you that are unaware. This is not, I say that, but it's not going to be up. I was going to try to make it. I don't know if I'll be able to because I'm going out in the morning with a friend, and then at night there's a Japantown festival, a J-pop festival, and they're going to have some Japanese singers, one of which is the guy who does the Chala theme song to Dragon Ball, which I know Q would like to see, and I'd be interested in seeing as well, because he also did some Sentai themes and stuff. If I end up doing that, I will not make the Hundreds hangout. I also don't know how much time I'll have to put in on the horror, but I'm going to try to get a little done at least, even if it's, half-hour token amount, because then for the next week or so, we're going to have friends in from out of town. And once again, it'll be difficult to get time in, but I will get some in. So starting strong, 5 hours for the first 2 days, not bad. So on to Saturday and a toy show. What's up? It is Sunday. That's right. That's right, it's Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday. I did not work on the horror. I'm laying on my bed, the sun on my face. It's the afternoon. But anyway, I did not work on the horror at all yesterday. I ended up going to a toy show down in Salinas. Here's a quick little of that.
I think that's not. That might not. Well, I know that one. Oh, you got
it. In my backpack.
Yeah, I saw like a black rock.
Hi! Okay, and now that it's Sunday, we're back to dramatic lighting. I did not speak to you on Saturday. Wow, that is crazy shadowy. Anyway, I did not speak to you Saturday. Saturday being yesterday, I did not work on the horror. I ended up doing a lot of toy stuff. Went down to a toy show in Salinas, which ended up being really small. It was out of like storage, like rental storage locker type things. But I did get some cool Ultraman figures, and then just sort of drove around with my friend and got back and hung out with Q. And I didn't really have a good excuse for not working on the horror. I was being lazy. It's good that I'm not in the 100 days because then I would have failed yesterday. This allows me to just fail myself. Today's Sunday. It's still early-ish. It's like 12. We got to do some shopping. And then late tonight, some friends from New Jersey are going to be staying with us for a few days. I will be trying to get some work on the horror done today, tonight, whatever. And I'm still working on my Comic-Con video, which is like so late and almost why bother at this point. But I've spent hours on it, and it's still not done, and it's crazy. I have like a 1.5 hour cut right now, which is way too long, and that's without even me doing voiceover or anything. So I feel like I have to do it because I've told people I was going to do it, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it at this point. I've also started doing a little thing. I don't want to call it a series or a show or anything like that, but right now I'm calling it Gazbot's Toy Shots because I do toy reviews and stuff, but I get a lot of little loose toys, and I have these little toy adventures all the time to just do like a not well produced, not serious review of just like, hey, here's the toys I got this week, and those take like they're like 5 minutes long and take me like a half hour to put together, so it's not that big of a time commitment. And I did a few episodes of that all at once, and so I'll be putting one of them up soon. If you care, I'll put a link below. Yeah, I guess that's it for right now. Not a lot of exciting news, but next time you see me, I will tell you what I've done on the horror Sunday, which is today. So, you're going in my mouth. Oh, you're spared at the last second. My friends, it's Monday. Yesterday, Sunday, I did get a bit of work done on the horror. Not a lot, about 45 minutes inking. I had planned to go back and work more. I did, however, finish the inks for page 5. That panel had a lot of flaws, but I worked on it for hours and hours and hours, and it is done as is, flaws and all. The good thing is there's going to be a lot of text boxes over it, so it'll cover up some of those flaws. But anyway, here is the finished panel 5, whatever panel, and page 5. Hook! Our friends are in from out of town, and we took personality tests earlier today, and I am some sort of debater. Shocking, I know. I like to argue facts. Yeah, I'm going to try to do actually a little bit of work right now while they're getting ready to go out, and I'll talk to you either later today or tomorrow, which is Tuesday. happy.
I'm still not going to. It's still not going to happen. Oh, way far. What? No, but it wasn't even. But it wasn't even.
Was that your goal?
No, it was to get it in. But
Guys, it's video. Okay. Okay, move around, say things. Come on, this is a moving picture. It's got sound. Throw a pie. What are you doing? All right. Hey, it's Monday night, and while I didn't get any work on the hard done over the weekend, I put in an hour inking today. I started page 6, and I started, as I've been wont to do, there's like a big complicated panel in the beginning, but it was just a close-up of 2 people at the bottom right, so that's what I worked on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the rough, and then I went ahead and got it pretty much to completion. There's a little background element I might add, but I'll throw that up right here. So this was the rough of Boots and this thug character. It was a pretty straightforward panel. I went ahead and inked her first, and then I was starting to ink him, and I realized I needed to adjust a little bit, so I kind of redrew him just as loose as I had underneath, but it had a little bit of a better gesture to it, and then I inked that up, and that's pretty good progress for an hour, especially considering the last panel. So that was that. Yeah, today we didn't do anything too spectacular, but we did end up going to Q's place of work, and I took a little video of the break room here. Don't know if I've shown you guys this before, but this is where my wife works. This is fully stocked, and people can just take whatever they want. So I have taken what we call a Mexican Coke, which is glass bottle and sugar, not sugar cane. All the snacks you want. It's like super Silicon Valley style. And then over here, they have their own private arcade. And then here's another bar. It's pretty crazy. It's like something on television. So that's it for today. I would have liked to get more done. I'm glad I got as much as I did. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to Santa Cruz, so hopefully I'll be able to do more tomorrow night. The update is forthcoming. I guess it's time to get up. Well, here I am, back at Santa Cruz Boardwalk, and today is Tuesday. And those guys wanted to go on a roller coaster, but it's the kind where it's almost like a teacup where you spin around, and those make me sick. I usually don't puke, which is worse, because then I just feel nauseous and don't want to walk for like an hour. So I got myself a slush puppy, which is, again, delicious loveliness. And I'm just walking around. Luckily, it's not too crazy hot. And yeah, we're going to do this for a while. And then we're going to go to the downtown and get some Planet Fresh burrito, which is this big monster burrito. And yeah, I don't know what we're doing tonight. Hopefully I'll have time to do a little work on the horror. Yeah, I love you. Well, while I've got some more time, it's funny, I'm sitting here, well, standing here, and it's a nice day. It's a little on the chilly side, which I actually prefer, because I don't like being hot. And the beach is nice, the wind's blowing, and I'm at the boardwalk, and it's sort of like a day off, and I've been having a lot of days off lately. And like, I find myself, without realizing it, actively trying not to enjoy myself in a weird way, because I know I should be working, and, you know, well, this is an obligation to take my out-of-town friends down here. But I like the boardwalk, I like being here. But instead of sitting here, like, looking around at stuff or playing a video game, I'm just kind of, like, checking my emails and, you know, thinking about how I need to get home to work. And it's weird because I do need to be working on the horror, but since I'm not home, I should just enjoy myself. But it's that thing we all have where I'm, like, always on duty, you know, like, and it's very self-defeating because I'll be home and not do work. I feel a little bad about it, but it's like, well, I'm not really having fun, so it's okay. But then if I'm not having fun or doing something, it's like, oh, I should be working. I should definitely be working. You know, it's like the more fun I'm having, the more removed from my home office environment, the more I feel like I should punish myself. But that being said, my sort of soft goal with myself was to have the first issue of the horror done and, you know, printed on demand, a few copies at least, in time for 8, which is the Alternative Press Expo, which is the beginning of October this year. And I have a table, and I'll be selling prints, but I want to have some copies of the comic, which gives me just under 2 months to finish the art, the grayscale, the lettering, and print it, which is possible. It's tight, and I'm feeling not very optimistic that it'll happen, especially because of the way I've not been putting in much time, where I've been putting in the same amount of time, whereas I wanted to be ramped up and doing, 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever. And when these guys leave, if I can get into some kind of hardcore mode, where I can do a page every day or two, I can get there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I really want to, and I know I'm going to be disappointed in myself if I don't, but it's also one of those things where life has happened, laziness has happened, procrastination has happened, perfectionism has happened, and it keeps delaying it to where what's something that used to be ridiculously achievable is now achievable, but not without great effort, which I'm willing to put in theory, but again, life keeps happening, and I'm definitely guilty of, okay, I went out and did a bunch of stuff today, well, I have a few hours at home, and I could put those hours in, and I'll sit down for a half hour, an hour, 2 hours, maybe, which is better than nothing, but it's still like, well, I could have worked on it for 4 hours, but instead I just, played a video game in bed and watched a show, and, all the stuff we all struggle with, but it's just that I have this deadline on myself that's now very real, and nothing will happen if I don't make it, except that I'll be disappointed in myself. But anyway, this is what I'm thinking about at the boardwalk, instead of just having fun.
I think one of these were just done up as Thor's hammer.
That would make so much, and they give you a little helmet to wear?
Yeah.
Wow.
3 minutes later, take a hold of this key. Please begin by the pathway now.
Some mini golf at night. It's so much better than when I did mini golf during the day with my dad. I was sweating and dying. This is nice. It's lit well, it's fun, it's not crowded, it's nice and cool. The sun is not killing me. Mini golf at night, forever. Forever, guys. Mini golf at night, forever.
That is cool.
Yes, Fort Apache, once again. Let's see how it goes this time.
No!
Nope. Oh!
Hey, I would give you $1 to touch your boobs. Yeah, we don't want to do that here. Come on, I'll give you $2. Get out of here, you're horrible. I am Jeff and I pound on the drum.
I am Darren and I pound it too.
I am Jeff and I wear lots of green.
Darren here, I like blue. Pound, pound, pound.
Pound, pound, pound.
Darren
And Jeff, pound the ground.
It's still Thursday, and I'm inside the Peace Pagoda in Japantown, San Francisco, that's right. But I did do a little bit of inking on the horror about 40 minutes this morning. I redid the face on Boots in the last panel, mostly readjusting digitally, not actually redrawing, which is a form of cheating, but it's a cheating that results in a superior product, so I'm fine with it. And hopefully by cheating enough, I will eventually retain that information, kind of like, looking at reference or tracing or any other thing that it'll sort of start to internalize. And what else? Well, I started, look at this. I started the inks on the panel before it, mostly working on the thug, and here is that. So my day is not over. I don't know if I'll be able to do any more today, but I'm glad I got some in. So, shata! It's Friday. I'm about to head out, but yesterday, Thursday, after the other activities, I did do a little bit more work on the horror. Not a lot. It was about 20 minutes inking, which brings yesterday's total to an hour, which is, But I'm trying to convince myself that 20 minutes is better than 0 minutes, and, that whole thing, kind of getting back in that 30 minutes a day mindset, which is not good, but it's the sum is better than nothing, because I was getting so hung up on having a large amount of time that I was doing no amount of time. So I mostly did some inking on Boots in panel 5, but I also redrew in rough. So I'll go ahead and show you. Here. So there's that. We're about to go out kayaking. So, kaya-hala. Well, it's me, Gazbot. I am out here on the lake in a kayak. I have not worked on the horror yet today. It is still Friday. We'll see what happens later tonight, but for now,
the great outdoors.
Wish me luck.
The adventure continues.
Jeff, you and me, we're big boy boys. Jeff, Jeff, we're big boy boys. Jeff,
Yes.
big boy boys.
Oh! Ah! Yeah. Yeah. It drops very fast and it's super sliding. Whoa, whoa.
Twice. What? Oh, death fish. Yeah, death fish. No, it's fine as long as you're not in the water. What? Oh, good point. I smell death fish. We are going to attack the blue and the green armies because we are the orange army. Ramming speed, stealth mode. Ramming speed! No! 2 for 1! The good thing about going against the wind is that when it's time to go home, you could just sit and relax and barely paddle and take a nap. Well, maybe I should paddle a little just so I don't hit shore.
Oh. Should I just start driving or should I wait for you?
Wait for directions, but I
No, should I just start driving?
I don't have directions though, because my phone's dead.
It's Saturday, and I'm at the Winchester house. Yeah. Hey, we're back to orange mode. Beep, 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 beep. So, there, I'm orange. Whenever I do these daily, updates, which seems to be the kind of standard that I've been doing for the after 100 days, product update. Yeah, the product update A4. Anyway, you get a plethora of different audio and video styles and qualities and whatever, and that's something I'd like to work on, but I'm trying not to focus too much on the video side of it. As it is, this video, I was working on the editing of it up till today, and I spent like an hour and a half on that, and that's like an hour and a half I could have been cleaning the house or drawing or doing playing with toys, anything. But I like doing the videos, I like communicating with you guys, and so I'm always making choices of what's more important, cutting, a couple clips together to make it a little more interesting, or worrying about the lighting in this room. And I chose to let you see my kayak adventure. So, deal with orange lighting. Deal with it! Anyway, today, all our guests went home yesterday. It was in the evening, so, that was most of the day. And today, sort of dealing with the fallout in terms of, all the laundry with sheets and cleaning up garbage and laundry and all the household chores that I haven't done for a week, plus all the extra work that when you have guests, you have to clean up after and stuff. However, I did work on the horror. I did 2 hours inking. But before I get to that, I almost forgot. Yesterday, after they left, I did work for a bit. Not a lot. I did about 45 minutes inking on panel 5. And so basically what I did was I finished up boots, and the background has the stand sport tube behind them, which you don't really see, but I also kind of need practice drawing it to kind of get it clear in my head what it looks like. So I finished inking her, and I sort of did the rough pencil before I go to ink, which is really more just for design than for line work. And I'll go ahead and show you that from yesterday. And then earlier in the day, it was like late afternoon when I actually did it. I did 2 hours on the horror, A4. finished that panel, did the tube, did the background, all that stuff, which I'll show you. Yes! Oh. And I also started working on the first panel, which I'm not going to show you because I didn't get very far on it, and I mainly drew and redrew Boots' head, which is always a good thing. Which leads me to my next point, why I hate art and drawing. And, a lot of people are, if you're new, take that with a grain of salt. And if you've been following me for a while, you may have heard me say it, you may have not. But I often sort of half-jokingly say how I hate drawing and I hate art. And I say half-joking because I read comics and I look at animation and I enjoy art, especially of the pop culture variety and then the narrative variety. And I obviously enjoy drawing on some level, and I enjoy storytelling on some level. But the actual act of drawing and doing comics is extremely difficult for me. I have a hard time making myself do it. When I'm doing it, I'm not particularly enjoying it. I like having it done. I don't like draw. I like having drawn. Now, I'm always analyzing why this is, and one theory I've had in the past is the idea that for various reasons throughout my life I've learned more than I've practiced, so that my sensibilities and my taste exceeds my ability by more than the normal margin. Normally you're sort of always striving to be a bit better, but I think there's truth to that. What I've been finding, especially, I've been working digitally a lot, and I was drawing and redrawing this face, and I remember when I did the rough, I drew it and redrew it, and it's like a profile of a female face that I don't want it to be sexy, but I want it to be attractive, pleasant. Pleasant is better a word. And I remember redrawing the rough a million times. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and ink on that. Nope, let me do like a rough pencil. Nope, and I redrew it and redrew it and redrew it, and I looked at my reference because I'd done the Boots kind of character design sheet, and I'm like, that isn't even really that good. And I remember spending forever on that. I'm like, that looks a little weird. And like the thing I liked most was like the rough sketch. But it's not very detailed, it's just kind of got a shape for an eye and stuff, so like when I go in, even if I follow that exactly, it never works out because I have to clean up lines that don't match from a gesture drawing. And that's a common problem I have with all my art, that the rough is often better than the final. And, I've kind of made peace with that hopefully that, over time they'll get closer together in terms of keeping the energy and flow of the gesture while making it look correct anatomically and line weight-wise and all that kind of stuff. But that's not something I'm focusing on right now. What I've found, and again, I'm working digitally, so I draw, redraw, erase, resize, reshape, layer. But before I did that, I did the same thing with paper. Erase, 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 take a piece of white sticker paper, put it on there, ink over that, photocopy most of the page, blah, blah. And that's kind of a big part of how I work. And I don't like it, but I feel, on a really base level, I feel like I'm like a level C artist, let's say. And I want to be a level A artist. And if I just draw normally, and try, but kind of my first attempt or second attempt and just be like, that's it, you're going to get C-level art out of me. And what I mean by C-level is satisfactory. Good enough, I can get paid, I'm better than the average schmo on the street. People that don't know that much about art are going to be like very impressed. People that know art will be like, well, it's passable, it's okay, you could get them to do less important work and still pay them, and then people, that are snobby are like, that's terrible. I would say, so, B-level, I feel, is like, I'm not some kind of superstar that everybody knows and I'm getting top dollar, but, semi-well-respected amongst my peers, able to defend myself realistically against most critique, and just be kind of satisfactory to myself and to other artists as opposed to just the average person or, the low-hanging fruit of the professional world. Now, maybe I'm selling myself a bit short, and I'm not looking at this as a pity party. This is just kind of how I think about things, and it helps me. And honestly, I feel better than if I was like, I'm an A level. I think it's better to think of yourself as worse than better. It doesn't help your emotional state, but it's going to help you be a better artist. It's going to help your career, whatever. But my point is that I feel that by redrawing and manipulating and re-importing and this and that, I fool myself and others into thinking I'm a better artist than I am. Which, I mean, it seems like a cheat, but it's not, because I'm putting in a ton of work. I put in more work than someone that could just draw it and have it come out that way. The cheat would be if I told people I could do it in an hour, or I charged them by the hour, and then, they ended up paying 10 hours for what would take someone else 5 hours. 99% of the time I don't charge by the hour, so what ends up happening is people will get that quality work for whatever price, and I end up putting in more hours than probably they expect, and maybe other artists would, which hurts only me. But I guess my hope is, well, I just have a hard time letting go, again, the whole perfectionism thing, I can't see myself as a perfectionist, because I'm not getting perfect. You know, I'm aiming for B-level satisfactory. Like I talked the other day about how I spent like 5 hours on that panel. And that's a lot of time. And I recognize, like, that's crazy to be spending 5 hours on a panel that isn't even done, just on the inks, basically. But even at that point, some of the perspective's off, and some of the sizing of the characters are off, and that road maybe should be a little wider, and you know, I could have spent a little more time figuring out what that building is supposed to be. But if I did, it'd be 10 hours. So I am cognizant of not overworking things to the point where I'm wasting time or whatever, but I put the time in, and I get a positive return. It gets more accurate, it gets better composition, it gets better, you know, it improves, and I just have to shorten that time span. And that's when I talked about, you know, at the pagoda the other day, if you trace, which I typically don't, but like if you trace, if you use reference, which I sometimes do, if you manipulate, if you do all these other things, which depending on who you're speaking to is a tool, is a training thing, is a crutch, is a cheat, whatever you want to call it and whatever the technique, if I could internalize it somehow, or if we could internalize it somehow, then it becomes a good thing. But I guess I feel like it's an uphill battle always, and I'm always, and this might just be I need to do 100,000 comic book pages. Like there's that old saying, like, dude, I forget what the number is. 10,000 drawings are going to be terrible, and then you'll start getting good or whatever. And I've definitely done those 10,000 drawings, but I haven't done 10,000 comic pages. I haven't even, well, maybe I've done 100 comic pages, but over the course of several years. So I feel like every time I approach a new page, it's like a new problem that I've never faced. It's a and I'm not just talking about, oh, it's a character I designed that I've only drawn a few times. Fair enough. It's a you know, a city building that, you know, I'm giving myself new problems in terms of design, but those are the kind of problems I like to solve. I'm speaking more of the, here's an angle I've never here's an angle I've never drawn. Here's a, you know, a build of a person I've never drawn. Here's a type of fabric I've never drawn. You know, here's a, you know, a point of perspective I've never done. And I could keep it simple, and I'd probably do better, but I guess I'm always trying to do something I've never done and make it interesting, which makes it hard. So I'm learning on the page. Every panel is like me in art school trying to figure things out, and I hate it, and that's why it's not fun, and that's why I hate drawing. But hopefully, when I get to the end of this 24-page comic, and then the next 3 issues, and I've done 100 pages, maybe if I do, you know, another issue of this story, or if I do something else, maybe it'll be a little bit easier. And maybe if I keep up this level of work, I will get better despite myself, and start to enjoy it more. So, but if I don't, I'll keep it up, because as much as I don't enjoy it, I have to do it, and I guess that's my art statement. That's my ninja way, as it were. I may not like it, but I have to do it. And I have to do it as good as I can, no matter how miserable it makes me. And even as miserable as I am, at least I'm not working for other people. Well, most of the time I'm not working for other people. That's going to be it for today, Sunday. Tomorrow's the beginning of a new week, Monday. I will hopefully get some more hours in. I have a lot of stuff going on this week, so unfortunately, even though my company's gone, I've got a couple caricature jobs. I might be doing a commercial, and an acting in a commercial. That's the odd part, because I've done plenty of commercials as an animator. And I have to go to the dentist, and I have to go to the auto mechanic. All things which take away time from client work, which is Kid Switch, which I need to catch up on. I mean, 2 of them are client work, but they're on-site caricature jobs. And, of course, the horror. But I have confidence I can at least get 2 hours a day. I want to exceed that. Right now, I think I'm at 10.5 hours for 11 days, which brings me a bit below an hour a day average, which is worse than when my father was in town. So tomorrow, I'm going to put in enough time. I don't know how much time I'll have, but I'm going to put in at least enough time to bring it up to be over an hour a day, which wouldn't be hard. I only need to put in like 2 hours, 3 hours tomorrow. So this is long. This video is long. See you later. Till tomorrow. Here I stand at a playground at night. It is Monday still, and I have worked on the horror. I worked for about an hour and 15 minutes, I believe, and I mostly was redrawing boots in that first panel over and over again because I am a maniac and have difficulty. I'll put up a couple slides of some progress there and maybe talk a bit over it here. So this is the rough I did that I had worked on for a while and was fairly happy with the gesture of it. And when I went to ink it, it wasn't working, so I did a quick kind of overlay of just the construction of the body. And then I inked from sort of a composite of both of them. It looked awkward, though. Her hands were both on the wrong knee. Redid the body a little bit better, and then I noticed the head was a little bit oddly shaped, so I put a quick sketch on top of that. Fixed the head. The neck looked too long to me, so then I moved the neck down to make her a little hunched over. Still not perfect, but after spending over an hour just trying to get that, I let it go, at least for now. Okay, then I also did some other stuff, came back, did another hour and a half working on the rest of the first panel, filling in background characters and such. So I'll just go ahead and show you where the panel is at this point. Now I'm out going for a walk because after dinner I decided to have a couple Fluffernutter sandwiches. Fluffernutter sandwiches, for those that don't know, are peanut butter and marshmallow fluff. A lot of fat, a lot of sugar, a lot of delicious. Did not need it, so I'm out walking trying to mitigate the damage. Now, what's interesting, I'm going to go over here. There's little benches next to this, like, enclosure. What do you call it? It's a gymnasium, I guess, for the kids. It's a playground, but I don't know what the actual real name for it is. And then there's little tables where people have picnics and things. Now it's nighttime, so I'm going to flip the view. Put the light on, but I feel like it's still difficult to see. One of these little enclosures has balloons, streamers, and a couple fancy place settings and a tablecloth. And all I could think is that this is like a horrible party where I sit down and somebody eats my soul and, you know, I turn into some sort of happy, always smiling husk of a golem of myself. Or people left this here from the weekend when they had some sort of thing and are just douchebags that don't clean up after themselves. That's going to be it for this update. I have all of it put together, collated, stapled. Wow, some crazy light. Oh, and of course there's a train. Sure, why not? Why not just end with a big, horrible cluster of crazy light and train noises and wind? But we're ending, it's 12 days. I did 2.5 hours, so I am over an hour average for this period. Not great, a little bit better than Dad was here. See what happens the rest of the week coming up. Probably going to do a shorter update on the next one. I put links below for everything that I've talked about up to this point. A few other things to mention. There was a Hangout of the Hundreds, as I said. There was also a Studio Synergy Peter Palmiotti did. I'm not in it, but you can still check it out. Even if I'm not in it, you can check it out. And Johannes Vick has... Johannes Wick. Oh my god. Oh, my eye is the sun. Oh. I get too amused by dumb stuff like that. But you could also check out Johannes Wick. I always get his name wrong. I apologize, sir. In addition to The Pelican, which I think is it's his own book, which I think is on hold right now, he's working on a book called, what is it called? After something, then later. I'm forgetting the title, but it's basically after a zombie, you know, infestation, but the humans have won and survived, and this is what's happening after, and he's doing the art, someone else is writing. A good way to know what it's called, and more about it, is to follow the link below where they had a sort of a sit and drink and sketch discussion on that. I watched that was interesting. And other things. I don't know, this update, oh my god, this update is probably like 40 minutes long now. So I'm going to say goodbye from the horror production update. 14!